And welcome to the 6th part of the Castlevania 2 Let's Play, and unlike what I've been saying before, where it's like, I'm gonna do a long part, and it's been nothing but short parts, this part's actually pretty beefy. Anyway, I'm going through this town, because it's nighttime. I'm not waiting until morning, like, I'm not just gonna sit around there until morning, because that's boring, but I am gonna do something a bit more proactive instead, and that's going to be finding more stuff. So, yeah. Because you know, the way the day-night system works, it's just, most of the time I don't have a problem with it. It's when things get locked out at night that I don't like day-night systems. I mean, I guess, you know, you have to justify having it, you need it to do something, like, you know, having everything open at day and night at the same time, and it's like, what's the point? But at the same time, I just don't like getting locked out of things where you have to sit around and wait for things to open up again, and you're just not doing anything. Which is riveting. Anyway, as long as you're not doing anything, grab a shield, block the projectiles these guys have. Not that these guys are particularly hard. These slimes, though, are another story. They are very annoying, as you can see. It's even worse if you're trying to go up and downstairs, like in the mansions. Anyway, come here, use your garlic, and this guy appears. He gives you a silk bag. You can hold double the amount of garlic and laurels. We don't really care about garlic, because we're never using garlic ever again. It's useless from here on out. However, laurels are still very useful. So, I mean, garlic can paralyze some enemies, but most of the enemies, like, I guess it's useful for killing slimes, but that's it. Most of the enemies I really don't care to paralyze, because they die really easily anyway. Or I can just ignore them. I could burn a laurel here to get the swamp, because it will make you invincible, but I'm not going to. No real need to. I'm coming up back to the town so I can heal pretty soon anyway. And I've done this in a specific way so I can talk to everyone and get everything done in these towns in like one day cycle. Though I had to redo this recording several times in order to get this just right. I did drop down to 1 health, but I managed to get back. Anyway, it's like it's almost morning, so I can get up to the church without waiting around, which is nice. It was cool that I got to be able to do that while not really wasting any time. But yeah, if you don't really know what you're doing, but you know you want to wait for the church to heal, it's like you just end up sitting there forever and ever and ever, and that's kind of annoying. And now it has come to morning again, thankfully. This town has one infamous NPC who says some things that, well, it's part of what this translation is railed on for by the internet. We get some health back, which is nice. There's no clues in here, though. Oh boy, yeah, this line. This is nonsense. Like, even in the Japanese version, it's complete nonsense. That person's lying to you. One of the implications, it seemed like a theory, is that, like, this is a town full of mostly women, and apparently, I guess, the implication is that Simon is trying to hit on some of them, and they don't take that very lightly, and so one person, while being frustrated, is lying to Simon to get him to, like, leave her alone, which is, I guess that's a thing? But, like, from a gameplay perspective, it's just kind of annoying to deal with. And I don't care for it in that sense. Like in person, that, like, if you're taking these people as actual characters with real human thoughts and emotions, that makes sense, but we don't really see any of that other than, like, maybe that one part. This is also another controversial one. Apparently, duck means something, akin to like a police officer, like on a stroll or something. Like it's a very weird translation. Like that line is translated extremely literally. So, it's not like a good. Like I don't think this game is a good translation. If this game had a good translation, you know. Oh, hold on. I want to talk to this guy. This is the last part of the trading sequence. So we change the blue for the red, and well, what happens automatically whether you want to or not. But yeah, we have the red crystal. One of the last things we need to, well, not the last thing, but one of the last things we need to get to like the last couple mansions, because you cannot progress without it. If you don't get it, you're stuck. So make sure you get the red crystal. Those who have played this game know what I'm talking about when there's some bullshit involved. Anyway, I decided to buy some morals. These aren't necessary right now, but I just did because I do want to save 200 hearts to buy the next whip upgrade. And I do want to, like, not just blow all my money, because I do need to save up some to buy the oak stake for the next mansion later. But, I'm going to get some more hearts amenities on the way, so why not? There is a person there that just fills up our bag of laurels to the max, so you don't need to, but it makes traveling the swamp easier. And now we're back outside again in daylight, and these sections of the game I do kind of like. I don't think these look too bad. It's like, I think the mansions look really ugly, but the outside areas look kind of decent. I think they could look better in terms of colors and art, but you know, for what it is, it's not too shabby. It's just the mansions kind of reuse the same boring, you know, brown and gray tile sets over and over and over again, and I just get sick of it, seeing that after a while. I don't agree with Ego Raptor much, but I do agree that this game looks really bland. You know, this town's mostly a town full of old men, and apparently they're all fearing death. This is a weird line. Apparently this is a Fist of the North Star reference. I've never seen Fist of the North Star. I don't watch a lot of anime, so I can't verify that myself without going out of my way to watch the entire series, and I just don't feel like doing that. But yeah, apparently that's a Fist of the North Star reference. Apparently it's really weird and convoluted, and you'd basically have to be Japanese to get the reference. So that's one of the weird things with some things translated from Japanese to English, is that some very Japanese-specific phrases and idioms just make no sense in English at all. Like, it's just nonsense. So you can't, like, this game translates things very literally, and it's just, those won't make sense in English if you translate literally, so you have to transliterate. You have to, you know, make it so things make sense in people's own tongue. And if you don't do that, it just comes off as a whole lot of crap. So, there's a few lines in this game that are kind of mingled in the translation, but honestly, it's not as many as people think. It's just, this game needed a very specific kind of translation, and we got the Morning Star, our level 4 whip, yay. But I mean, like, for this game to really have been better, the translation crew really needed to transliterate the game, so some of the things people were saying actually make sense, and instead they just kind of went with a very literal way of doing it, which is unfortunate, and it renders some parts of the game I wouldn't quite say unplayable, borderline unplayable, and that guy has this line where believe in magic you'll be saved. That's a religious reference. He specifically talks about God in the original Japanese, so that's a thing. Because, you know, Nintendo had their censorship policies at the time. And, you know, no religion or anything like that. Of course, like, you know, a vampire cursing a person to death, that's perfectly okay, but religion, no. And these guys don't really say anything too consequential. The fourth graveyard or cemetery for a diamond is the diamond we got earlier in the game, so that's not really really useful at this point. But I guess if you didn't know about that before, that would be useful now. And the last guy mentioned a man living in darkness. We're going to pay him a visit later on in this part. Not quite yet. We're basically heading on to the next mansion. Also, there was a thing that I didn't quite get to, and he's gone now because it's night. But there was a guy who said something like, "Take my daughter," and that line is weird. Like, not in terms of translation, it's very literal. But I interpret it one of two ways. Either he's just telling you to take his daughter to safety, which I guess is commendable. But the other way comes off as like, I will give you my daughter if you save me, you know, like in a very seedy way. This is I don't really like that interpretation. I'm hoping it's the former and not the latter, but you know, this is Japan, so who knows? Anyway, we go out here and we're making our way to what's called Deborah Cliff. And this is the part of the game that really screwed over a lot of people. But if you look here, you find another clue. It kind of can. I'll get to Dracula's doing that. That's the next item. Anyway, equip the red crystal, and prepare for one of the biggest bullshit moments in video games. Hold it for about 5 to 6 seconds. This tornado picks you up, and it does this. Yay! You know, most people did not figure that out on their own and kind of got stuck here permanently with not being able to ever figure out how to progress, because that's not really an intuitive thing. I mean, yeah, you kind of did the same thing with the lakes, with the blue crystal, so I guess you could stretch that to the red crystal, but it's like, that particular cliff is not special. Like, there's really nothing unique about it that really stands out. So it just comes across as... Well, anyway, there's an invisible floor. Like most other mansions, this place has a lot of invisible floors. So... And it's the first time we've seen those all game. There's nothing over there. I just wanted to show off that sprite because I think it's the only time you see that in the whole game. But anyway, the red crystal stuff, it just bothers me because it just throws it out there and there's no build up to it. It's because there's no one there. There's almost nothing to indicate that this is something you should be trying to do. Like, I'm fine with exploration and experimentation in video games, like experimenting, like finding a whole bunch of different stuff and just trying out different things, but you kind of have to lead the player into doing that and not just expecting the player to run around and use every item and every single possible permutation of thing that can be done. That just leads to a lot of frustration. Anyway, we're heading up to another clue, which is upstairs. And one of the weird things about this game is, like, parts like this where there's just a lot of slowdown, and I don't get it. What on screen is there that's so taxing on the NES that it comes to a crawl? I don't get it, because nothing on here looks that hard to display, so... Because it's just using a lot of the same background pieces over and over again, they're just palette swapped. Like, this is the same sprite of the night guys from earlier in the game, they're just a different color. So, if someone's a hacker and they're somehow watching this, I would like an explanation of, like, why this game has so much slowdown in it, because this legitimately confuses me. Anyway, there's a secret passage in here, and you do need to come here, because if you don't come here, you can never get the oak stake. You could go to another mansion and get another oak stake that way, and bring it over here, because you can do that, but that's really tedious. So, yeah, I figure it's better off if I show getting the oak stake on screen. Now you fall down here and you're back on the path. We're not too far away from the end, folks. And I said this would be a very meaty part. There's nothing on screen. Why is there slowdown? Anyway, use the oak stake here, and we get, well, we now possess Dracula's nail. Dracula's nail is actually not useless, so that's something. I guess there's a first time for everything with this game. Anyway, with Dracula's nail, and you equip it, Simon's whip can destroy the same things the Holy Water does. So it can break the blocks to create secret passages. Well, obviously it won't destroy any block, just the ones that the Holy Water can already destroy. Of course, you have to have the nail equipped to do that, and if you don't, it's not going to do anything. So we're basically down to one less item to get. And that screen transition is kind of weird. Yeah, this is the nail at work. It's only doing the same thing that the Holy Water can do, but convenience is the thing, I guess. Anyway, there's that secret hatch. You could go like the opposite way around, but you'll miss the oak stake. So but I'm not ending the part there, because we have one last thing to do. Because we're going to the 5th mansion, but it's really short. Like, really, really short. Anyway, red crystal, Neil, and it drains the light just like the blue crystal, because for whatever reason, the red crystal seems to have the properties of the blue crystal, but neither the blue or red seems to have the properties of the white. Or do they? I've never tested that. That may be something I should do. Anyway, come here, break these open, and then talk to this guy. Yay, we get the level 5 whip, so... And this is what he says if you don't have the level 4 whip. He only upgrades it if you have the Morning Sword, and nothing else. But yes, the most powerful whip in the game, kills a lot of things, most things will die in one hit. If they don't die in one hit, they'll probably die in 2. Anyway, this particular room is really big, like there's a whole lot of stuff in it. Well, I mean, there's a lot to this room, it's really big, but there's not much to it. Like, it's just you keep going up, and then you get to the top, and there's nothing there. There's not even any secret rooms, or any rewards for exploring. That's the thing, this game doesn't... People that defend this game will talk about, like, well, you're supposed to want to explore, but this game doesn't reward exploration. It just kind of... You explore so you can play more of a game that's already kind of mediocre. Anyway, that clue just means that you can use the knife that you got from Death to kill Camilla, which is the next boss we'll be fighting. And Camilla's really easy, you don't even need that knife to kill her. Then again, Camilla's pretty easy in most games. I guess the one game that Camilla kind of gives me a challenge is Circle of the Moon. And it turns to morning again. Not that it matters too much at this point. Anyway, let's equip our laurels. And these things will shoot out fire really fast, so just keep your laurels up. I have 3, which is just enough to get through these swamps. Well, I only used 2, but I could have used the 3rd if I really wanted to. Now we're doing Veal. Really the last dungeon in the game. There's Dracula's Castle, but Dracula's Castle, if you're expecting a big, gigantic, like, fortress is the final area of the game, you're going to be disappointed. It's really small. Which is unfortunate. But this place is also kind of small. We're only going to be in here for a few minutes. So it's like, since it's so small, I figure I'd add this to the video instead of cutting. Because why not? But yeah, if I didn't get the Flame Whip and just had the Morning Star, this would take like 4 hits to kill, and that would just take forever. So. And something about this playthrough, I never actually show a level up, which is unfortunate. I just never could get one on screen, because that would require me grinding on screen to do that. Anyway, we get an Oak Steak. The last one we'll ever need. Don't ever use an Oak Steak as an item against enemies. They're one-shots, you should know this already, but just reinforcing the point, and they don't really hurt them at all. So you'll feel like an idiot if you try it. I think out of all the mansions, this one's probably the most bland and generic looking. I mean, I guess I'm glad it's short, so it doesn't go on forever, but like most mansions, I just don't care for it. Anyway, we're at Camilla now, which is the penultimate boss fight in the game. You can easily kill her with just the whip. It's not hard at all. It takes a while, but you can kill her that way. But I'm using the golden knife because I have the heart, so I'm not buying it through the rest of the game. And now we get the Magic Cross. The Magic Cross basically lets you get to Dracula's castle. If you don't have the Magic Cross, even if you have the 5 items, you can't cross the border. And we now possess Dracula's ring. So we have all the stuff we need. We can go to the end of the game now. There is one, I believe there's one last town. No, there's 2 actually. But the second one's really short. It has this weird fourth wall breaking reference too. Now, I could have talked to this guy earlier, but I chose to fight the boss instead. But he gives you laurels, and we're maxed out at 8 now. Because the cap before getting the Sulk bag was 4, and now we have 8. So yeah, that's the thing. You can just, if you get in a tough situation, you can just use laurels to make sure you don't die, but this game is not really hard. I mean, I know I'm saying that while I'm at low life, but this game's more about the attrition, but not in a, like, Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 3 do attrition in a really good way, because the levels are really not particularly long. This game doesn't really have levels. It's just one giant world to explore, but there's not much of the world to explore that's meaningful. It's just a lot of empty space, and if there's anything you'll come to know about me, I despise empty space in video games. I don't like it. If you're going to put something there, put something there. Don't just waste people's time. And unfortunately, that's kind of what Castlevania 2 is. It's a waste of time. Again, I don't hate this game. I don't think it's like the worst game ever. I do think it's a very mediocre though. But you'll hear more about that in my review at the end of it, when I get to the end credits. Anyway, that's all for this part of Castlevania 2. Next time, we'll be getting close to the end of the game. So, see ya.